welcome back to What Up Eugene, of course the show where we talk about better podcasts. I today am your host Lars. I am joined as always by my co-host Dan. What's going on today, Dan?
I'm drinking what tastes like a PBR.
Well, hey, don't tell people anything about this beer until we get to the beer review. We've tried this format before. We're mixing it up, so we're going to drink the beer now, get to know our feelings and our emotions and our heart of heart about this beer, and then we'll review it and we'll already know. I already know my score because I'm a beer savant. Dan, this week I have listened to a new show. Well, new to me. I think they have several hundred episodes, so not new to them. Called 99% Invisible.
Hold on. Are you talking about... This is 99% Invisible. I'm Roman Mars.
I mean, I don't think there's a second show with that name. I feel pretty confident.
Yeah, that's a great podcast.
So I don't want to spoil too much about what that show's about to our guests. What I like about it, I think it's a theme that anyone will find interesting. Like, no matter how boring your life is, you'll be like, oh, that's kind of fascinating. But what
I don't even know. Does it have a theme? Like, it's kind of all, it covers a bunch of different topics.
It does have a theme, actually. The theme, the underlying theme is design.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's the 99% invisible is like, if you think about this room, that box there, that shelf there, that door, like everything in this room that was made by people was also designed by someone with either like visual or structural purposes behind it, or like, cost of manufacturing. A lot of thought and effort goes into everything, and you never really think about it.
That's true. I mean, I never looked into why the show was called what it is, but that makes sense. It talks about anything from why certain lights are different colors.
One of the recent episodes they did was about fake money, like prop money in movies, and how even if it's not on that kind of money cloth paper, anything that looks like $100 bill and is in the same size, printed front and back, is completely illegal according to the FCC. So they have to do a lot of stuff to make the fake money they use in movies look like real money, but not look enough like real money that the FCC wants to get involved.
Yeah. No, I mean, I saw that was on my Stitcher playlist. I haven't listened to it yet, but I intend to.
The reason I brought him up, Dan, is not to tell people to listen to a better show. The reason I brought him up is because it's like a 40-minute episode. I will say it's well-researched. It's almost more like an episode of TV than a podcast, because it really is like very scripted and edited together in a non kind of... It doesn't feel like you're in the room talking to them. But they got to the end of it, and they read off a list of credits that was like the name of every person who worked on the show. And those guys... There were like 15 people working on that show, and I was so mad because there was one guy whose whole job was editing. And I do all the... Of course, Dan does all the social media here. I do all the editing. I was like, fuck, it's a real pain in the ass to edit these every week. That's why they're always late. It's just...
I think they have money.
I think they have money too, and that really upsets me. So, What Up Eugene officially putting our ad out there. We're looking for a social media intern who also edits
I think we're looking
audio.
for sponsors first to get the money.
Yeah, hey, Stitcher Premium.
No, let's look locally so we can act globally.
Do you want to work in a sweatshop for nothing?
Hey, there's our guest.
Speaking of our guest, let me drag a sound file around. See, this is the thing. If we had a guy to, switch the audio,
play the goddamn audio file.
I'm trying to. If I had a guy to do it, I would.
Oh my god.
That's the worst one yet.
No, it's not.
That's so bad. Every time the guest theme gets worse.
Well, it's okay. Here's the thing.
I was gonna ask Olivia if she Olivia, our theme. I'm gonna let you defend yourself. I'm just gonna Kanye you first. Olivia is coming on. Is actually dating someone who came on before, which is Jordan. We get that a lot. We get a lot of one or the other of a relationship coming on.
Are you talking about the asshole who made his own theme?
Yeah. Well, actually, he wasn't conceited. He just sang his own theme. And I was thinking, well, it'd be really cool if we could have Jordan write a theme for Olivia, or maybe if Olivia wanted to come on and do her own theme. Instead, we got that pile of flaming turd.
Can we play it one more time?
Oh, that hurts.
Here's the thing. This is what bugs me about this. You are normally really good at like matching pitches with something and recreating it, and you definitely did not hit the key or tonal center of him saying O'Reilly.
I've been busy, and it's hard to get in the headspace to match those tones when you got money on the mind.
It's a high note, isn't it?
Like a third off.
Yeah. How's it? Could you give it to us? Give us an O'Reilly real quick.
O'Reilly.
That's it. That's Olivia should have done it. Can I edit that in? I can't.
No.
I'm too lazy.
Get that intern and you can.
So, you're our guest, Olivia. What's going on? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm so blocked up about singing. I don't know how that happened.
No, that sounded great. You fucking crushed it. I couldn't do that. My ears are the worst.
The peer-reviewed beer review.
And with that sound cue, we've moved into our alcohol review segment. So Olivia said,
We're all drinking a beer by Bowie.
So Olivia, I said, sometimes I don't give the guest the option. I just buy whatever shit I want and they have to drink it. But I asked Olivia, I said, do you have a particular kind of beer you like? Or if you don't like beer, we can do cider. Olivia had all these requirements about Marionberry prune cider. And I was like, I can't find your salmonberry cider. But
Why would you ask for that?
I didn't.
didn't. That's called improv, Dan. Learn it.
I was doing a yes and or whatever they call it.
Anyways, the other thing she said was light beer. Now, as anyone in Eugene knows, because they live in Eugene, I don't drink light beer. I think our whole town doesn't drink light beer. So I was at the grocery store trying to find a light beer, which is it's a hard thing to do. And I found one called a cream ale, but they describe it as crisp, clean, classic, where ales meet lagers. But I don't really think of ales or lagers as light beers. So I don't know, maybe they can have lighter varietals.
Man, Jordan makes fun of me because he's just like, basically just PBR. Why are you drinking this?
Yeah.
It tastes like a PBR. I mean,
Is this a beer you've had in the past?
No, I've never had it. It's delicious though.
I've never had this beer, but I've actually been. I don't even need to look at the can. I know where this is made in Astoria, Oregon.
Wow.
Because we recently visited Astoria. By recently, I mean earlier this year, and we went to their brewery and had a burger and stuff. But I didn't actually have a beer. I forget why.
Dan, since you're not looking at the can,
Yeah,
Dan, who doesn't look at cans, would you please tell me the alcohol percent of this beer?
5.7.
You have a good tongue for that, Dan. Good tongue for that.
No, I saw that part of the can.
He's like, I looked at that part. Okay, so here's the deal, Olivia. This is how we do this. You've heard exactly one episode of the show before, so you probably know. Dan and I both have a rating system. Dan's system is between 0 and 5 Lars. It's a very creepy picture of my face, and there's 0 to 5 of them. My rating system is between 0 and 300 stars,
Right.
which is fucking hilarious for me and so annoying for Dan. And every guest who comes on gets to make their own rating system. It can be anything you want. A simple blank out of blank is best, because otherwise it's kind of hard to edit. But Dan is going to do the graphic. That is at peerreviewedbeerreview.tumblr.com. They're there. You can go. You can look right now. I think Dan's got it up. If not, whatever.
I just thought of a really strange rating system.
Perfect. So when you're ready, you can give us your rating system and your rating. And if you're not ready yet, we can go. But I feel like you like this beer, so you're probably ready.
Let me think for a minute.
Okay, you think for a minute. Dan, what's your, out of 0 to 5 Lars, give me this beer.
I already have mine.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and read that?
He's going to give me a 2.5 out of 5 Lars.
Yep.
I'd
give it a 1.5.
Yeah.
Which is basically PBR or 1. But
It was $12 for the
Bowie
six-pack.
has a great design.
It is, I mean, it really is a picture for Bowie. Yeah.
Their color scheme's it's just solid.
It's simple. It's very simple. Like they have these 3 lines that kind of look like maybe if it was text out of focus on a camera, but it's not. I guess those are water. I don't know what that is, but the 3 lines, I'll be real with you. I don't love the font for Astoria and Oregon. It's kind of cursive. Maybe it's the size. I think it could be slightly larger. Like from far away, it's very hard to read the word Astoria.
I think they're doing a perfect embracement of
Yeah,
late 80s, early 90s.
Well, so they use the same font for the word Bowie up top, but it's like 2 or 3 sizes larger. It's just a little easier to read. Astoria is like hard to read from that size.
Oh, I think it's fine.
Take your glasses off, then tell me.
But your glasses are on. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, my vision's bad with the glasses
Olivia's wearing glasses too.
It's really bad.
How do you feel about the font size of the word Astoria?
I don't have any qualms with it. I actually like the whole design.
You don't
It's
think
very
that could
retro.
be like one point?
Let me tell you, my dad was a commercial fisherman, okay? And the clothes he wore and the style he had looks like this can.
And the font size was 12, and we didn't complain about that shit.
Listen, Lars, you're only strengthening the theory that you're secretly an old Jewish man trapped in a younger man's body. You hate loud noises. Things are too small to read.
Oh boy, I am dying
You're
fast.
kind of
Dan.
neurotic. You're kind of neurotic, like a.
I might
Still
be.
wearing your work shirt.
Oh my god.
He
Well,
is.
yeah. Well, it was cold in here.
He's wearing a maroon polo and dress
hot now.
pants.
It's red.
So I give this a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't love this. I mean, I've never liked a lager. And it has a little bit of that kind of, what are those? Oh, that is a lager, isn't it? The beers that PBRs are. There's a lager. Yeah, I've never liked lagers. So it does. Oh, hold on. Let me take one more sip. It kind of tastes like that cactus beer a little bit. Yeah. I paid $12 for this 6-pack, so I'm gonna give it 12 out of 300 stars because it did not earn very. It's not good.
That might be the lowest or second lowest.
I've given a couple things 0.
Not on this show.
Not on this. Not on
On one of
this-
our many other shows.
Yeah.
Oh, by
On
the way, folks.
pilot.
By the way, folks, we're going to be making a brand new opening theme here soon,
Mhm.
and even have an outro for our little made by
We're gonna
Moments Go
take.
Studios.
We're gonna take a whole day. This is a real problem we have in the studio, which is that like we want to have better theme music, but it's hard for either one of us to kind of come up with it by themselves. Together, when we hung out for 3 hours and did the Dan's Bag theme, that was brilliant. That was better than the episode we recorded, but it took a long time to do that. So we're trying to sync up to have a whole day where we just sit down, write and record themes, and then we're gonna have a nice intro, a nice middle section, maybe like a consistent break. I thought about maybe just doing a guitar part and you just like do a fake ad or something.
I'm
some
even
kinda
down to
clever-
add in a little bit of ambient noise that I have, and
Yeah.
my didgeridoo might make a reappearance.
We might
I don't
didgeridoo
know.
for the second time.
DM
So,
us.
Yeah, if you have suggestions, thoughts, if you're a local or unlocal music producer and you're like, I'm gonna write your whole music for free. If it's good, we'll use it. If it's bad, maybe pursue a different career.
If we only had our own Reggie Watts,
Oh my god, if can we just have him for like a day?
that'd be great. Olivia, we need your decision.
Yeah,
your rating.
do you want to bring your violin in and just do all of our themes for us? Could you do that?
I mean, okay.
Perfect, nailed it.
So I decided on the system on the spot, pretty much A to Z. Z is the best, A is the worst, because
Perfect.
A is always the best, and it probably shouldn't be all the time.
Yeah, it's give a little love to the people with letters, last names that start with a letter that's farther in the alphabet. You know, I
like
was always
I'm
in
a
the T's and the S's, and those are no fun. You're coming
Yeah.
dead last.
Yeah, I'm a W. So
Oh.
like,
Yeah, there you go.
there we go. So I give it a Y for yes.
Y out of Z for yes. Y for yes out of Z.
Because it's really good.
Perfect. Dan, go ahead and please write that down. Y
So-
for yes out of Z.
Yeah, give it a good
Okay.
So
Why for yes.
what I need you to do,
I can't believe I'm writing this down.
here's the graphic. It's just every letter of the alphabet in color, or like less grayed out or whatever. You get to Y, it says Y for yes, and then the Z is grayed out.
Okay, I want to take care of this really quick. Just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
So you say A is like best.
No,
A's
A's
the
the
worst.
worst.
A is the worst. Oh, never mind. I don't
Awful.
even. You know what that answers my question. I'm done. I got it.
So Z would be a perfect score. This is a Y out of Z. It's one off, so just a
So
grayed out Z.
If Y is for yes, then what is X for?
Xerxes.
Very on the top and then awesome on the bottom.
But where's the X come into play?
No, like it's part of the X. The V's on the
it's-
top
wow,
and the
that's
A's on the
classy.
You
bottom.
could have done extremely great.
That
with an
works
X.
too.
Dan, is there something that we're going to talk about today? Some kind of maybe theme or point or plot to the show today?
Oh, you wanna talk
No.
about a theme? Okay.
Well, I could talk about bad beer if you want. It's this one.
no. Let me pull up my show notes.
Show notes. Live on air. You heard it for the first time
I'm
today.
gonna get this one out of the way because I
Spoilers.
feel like you know what. First off, guys, have you had a very Eugene day recently?
A very Eugene day.
What was your Eugene day like? What'd you guys do today? Make sure there's some references.
Oh.
I haven't seen anyone outside of work until after work. So I worked in Eugene and then I went home in Eugene. And then I walked in Eugene to this place that's in Eugene.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Olivia was in Eugene all week. And probably will be next week, too. Myself, Dan, that's a really good question, and I think about it a lot. What am I doing as a Eugene member of the society to really bring wholesome Eugeneness back to society. So I've been masturbating at every park I can find.
Name those parks.
Oh, you got Alder. That's not a park.
You mean Alden Baker?
Alton Baker.
Come on.
Oh, okay. What's that park?
Amazon Park?
Yeah, well, there's a park over in the Whitaker. I think it's called Sladen Park. I like that. Sober Park. I'm just doing Whitaker parks now. Monroe Park. There we go. Friendly Street Park. Of course, you've got Tugman Park.
I was going to shout out to Tugman.
Tug it and Tugman, right?
You gotta tug it. Tugman.
I'm not going there.
Boy, I did a lot of parks just then. I'm running out of park. What's
You're
that?
running out of something.
What's that one over on Franklin?
I don't go over there. I don't trust that place.
They got the flower garden. It's like a whole Hendricks Park.
Oh, Hendricks.
You got the Buttes.
That's where that runner guy died.
Really?
Yeah.
Prefontaine?
Prefontaine.
He died at Hendricks Park. I didn't
He got
know
hit
that.
by a vehicle.
Oh.
Wow. I thought he
Vehicular
died
manslaughter.
of old age or something.
Yeah. Anyway,
him.
we're gonna go ahead and move on.
Wait, hold on. I told you about my Eugene Day. Tell me about yours.
All right.
Daniel, co-host of this podcast.
Unless you live in Springfield.
I don't
Or
live
Veneta.
in Springfield.
You
Don't ever
basically-
bring up Springfield in my microphone again.
You live so far away, you basically live in the ocean.
He thinks I live crazy far away. I really don't.
It's at least a 5-hour drive.
You have not been out in the sticks before, my friend. I am 12 minutes away. 12 to 15 minutes away.
By airplane.
So my day, I went on a run down Bailey Hill.
Where is that, in the middle of nowhere?
Oh my God. You don't know Eugene at all. You don't know Bailey Hill.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing? She's only been here 6 months?
And a year previously.
Okay.
A year and 6 months combined.
I really haven't done anything too Eugene centric. Although I did go to Beppe and Gianni's, as you know, last episode.
Oh, yes. So last episode was before your dinner. So obviously we have a couple of loose ends to wrap up. One, how was your family emergency handled? Did you solve it?
Solved.
I know that you came late to the podcast, but you did show up, which tells me that it was like a grandpa or someone who doesn't really matter.
It was not a crisis averted. The real thing of that night is the lasagna.
Well, hold on. I was gonna ask you what you had, and then you ruined it by telling me.
I'm just diving right in to that saucy deliciousness.
Tell me about it. Was it okay? 2 questions. One, what was the price range on this? Was it like $13, $14?
I think it was $16,
$16.
which is steep.
How big was it? We're talking like a little.
Oh, hold on. Right there.
That's a fairly large slice of lasagna.
Not bad.
I'd call that almost 2. I'd call that a slice of lasagna.
Yeah.
Depending on how tall it is.
And it was great. And afterwards, we went to Prince Puckler's right next door.
Now, was it one of their coolers broken when you came in? Because I went in the last week. Yeah, the cooler was broken. For a second, I thought they had no ice cream. It was really traumatic. Because there's the cooler by the door. I was like, where's the flavors?
Oh, I love their green tea.
Oh.
The fresh banana. I don't really like bananas too much, but their fresh banana ice cream. And the new banana fudge they're doing. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Haven't had that. I think it was called the Malted Muddy River. That's what I got.
So, Dan, I want to talk about family emergencies for a second, if that's all right. Can I have the floor on this?
Take the floor.
I think I would like to say this. By the time I was 19, all of my grandparents were dead. Or, well, 3 of them died during my 19th year. So I never really got grandparents as a kid. I never really grew up around them. And I always get kind of mad when people have great-grandparents or like I have a coworker who's 70 and she's like, oh, it's my father's 87th birthday. Or maybe she's 65, I don't know, whatever. But I'm like, these people are living too long. Anyways, I have a coworker who asked me to work for him on Saturday, which I don't really mind, but it's his wife's grandfather's funeral. Now, he is almost 50. This grandfather was in his 90s, and I just feel... Here's my thing. This is all I'm going to say about this. I don't think you get a day of grievance or should even really have to go to the funeral for someone who's got great-grandchildren. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's too old. You've been on this planet too long. You've wasted enough time. I want to have Saturday off.
Get it over with.
And to follow up, it's not his grandfather. It's his wife's. That's grandfather-in-law that he's going to the funeral for. How much can you love someone that old? That's all I want to know.
A little bit salty.
That's. I think that's even low. That's either lower than or equal to. I got to go to this concert this weekend. Come on.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I just feel like it's like, dude, just show up to work. Just like if your wife's going already, like why do both of you need to go? You know,
You better watch out. Do they listen to this podcast?
No.
Okay.
No. Although it's a very specific situation, so if they did, they would know I'm talking about them.
Well, speaking of old people dying,
Several probably
This-
died today.
I started with that. I don't really have a transition. So
Oh, I thought there was like some famous musician that I was gonna be sad about.
really briefly, last week we covered the best of Eugene. Okay. We talked about like who won best restaurant, best whatever. One thing we didn't address that I brought it up, but we ran out of time. One of the things people voted on was what is the best thing about Eugene? And
Ooh.
of all the things,
Well, are we gonna get to guess, or are you just gonna tell us?
yes.
Can we guess what the best thing is?
Yeah. Okay. So there's the top 3, but then there's like the number 1.
Okay.
Is it like a general thing like parks or
It's a write-in.
Okay.
Write-in.
So, but it's just like the most popular thing written in.
Yeah, by the readers of Eugene Weekly.
Okay. So you've lived in Eugene for basically a year and a half combined at this point. What do you think? What's your best thing of Eugene?
weed?
I feel like weed's gonna be on that list. I do. Dan, can I be honest with you for a second?
Sure.
I feel pretty good about weed being on that list.
Hey, that's my idea.
No, I'm not gonna take it. For me personally, I want to put rain on there. Not everyone loves it, but if you live here, you know you're gonna get rained on 10 months out of the year. Like you're either have no choice, or you chose to do that to yourself. So
Yeah.
Are you ready for the actual results?
yeah.
So coming in at number 3 was either nature or food. I think it was nature.
Okay, sure. Nature or
Coming in
nurture.
at number 2 was the people.
No. Hard pass.
And then coming
That's
in
cute.
coming in at number 1, and this is where the author actually took a paragraph to kind of like ask people about this. Number 1, the readers of Eugene Weekly said the best thing about Eugene is diversity.
Those
No,
are more
again.
general than I thought.
So I'm going to go ahead and read what this author, her name is Mira Powell, if I'm pronouncing that right. She said,
Actually, Moira Plale.
You shut up. So she said, let me preface this by saying I'm not mad, but even more so, I'm just straight up confused. You know, when your parents used to say, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, that's how I'm approaching this situation. As a half black, half Filipina person who has lived in Eugene my whole life, I just have to ask, what makes this town diverse? You, best of Eugene voters, don't mean racially diverse, right? We the people of Eugene are not that disillusioned, are we? Or have we come to accept that a town that is more than 85% white, according to the census, in some way counts as diverse? And she goes on a bit longer, but she makes a great point, which is how could people in this town be like, Eugene's crazy diverse? She says, do you mean like the nature? Do you mean the food? What do you mean by diverse?
Yeah, so I will agree. My first reaction was no. I made that very clear. I said that on air actually moments ago. It is very much not. Like it's hard to talk about race when you're already a white person, but for instance, in the history of the show, we've had one black guest, right?
One,
And they don't even live in Eugene anymore, so right, like
yeah, Miles moved to Houston and then he got flooded out.
yeah, well, it serves him right. Maybe he could have stayed in Eugene and done more podcasting. You know, that's on him.
We got to get it back on.
I would love to
Yeah,
have him back
Anyway,
on.
I digress.
I feel like maybe that could have come from a perspective of a U of O student, because I feel like there's more diversity in that little community than there is in most of Eugene.
Sure,
yeah.
and it's also possible that they're the people who are actively voting in the contest, you know, because maybe they're more involved with the
I
community.
feel like it's mostly older. Actually, where we're at
What?
now in South Eugene, I think it's older white yuppies who they feel like it's crazy. I think they have a perspective of we celebrate different cultures.
Yeah, I would say definitely not racially diverse. Although, I'll tell you what, you know, I had a realization just like last year or the year before I went to the Asian celebration, and I realized how kind of weird that is. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like in every other city I've lived in, they didn't have an Asian celebration. You know what I mean? Like and there is a huge amount of Asian cuisine in our town now, like everywhere. It's really, there are some cultural flavors that are popping up, but like the actual race distribution in the town, maybe mostly white. Although what I would say is, I imagine most people don't actually mean diverse in race. I think probably more like culturally. I mean, Eugene is a town where there are a fair amount of kind of right wing, like pro-Trump people in this town, and I don't know that they're really necessarily supported, but they're there. Really, any opinion you're looking for, you can find in this town. You can find people who are doing all sorts of crazy stuff with their life. People who are, artists or musicians, same thing.
Very liberal.
Like there's definitely like it is. You can go out through a day and meet 10 people and be like, wow, I met 10 really different people, even if they were all white.
That might be the perspective of the people who voted for this. Mm-hmm. Because I can't see it's
not
like, racially diverse
like,
here at all.
For instance, like having lived in other places in the past, I lived in Missouri once, and everyone was exactly the same. I mean, it was really not interesting.
As people, but did Missouri have more non-white people?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was like 40-60 or 50-50. It was a lot more racially diverse, but it was boring. No, I think most people in Eugene aren't boring, right?
So misery instead of Missouri.
Yeah, it's a terrible place. Do not recommend.
How's the barbecue though?
Not great.
Oh,
yeah. For a place that shit, you'd think they'd figure something out, but I mean, better than Eugene. Don't get me wrong, better than Eugene for sure, but not worth it. Yeah, you have to assume that they obviously I think the author had the same reaction that I had, which was that they meant racially diverse. I think that's gut reaction, and I think it's pretty clear that that's not what they meant.
It's interesting that you brought up the whole that we do have Trump supporters in Eugene. There's some Republican
they technically exist.
Yeah, because so Eugene also has a subreddit, and it's /r/Eugene. I'm not good at Reddit terms.
Well, you did fine. That's okay. Some people just call it r/Eugene, or just r/Eugene, or just the Eugene subreddit. People will know what that means.
Which we have posted on before, or I've posted to try to get the word about the podcast.
I'm not trying to, for the record, my Reddit profile will stay private during the course of this show. I'm not trying to tarnish my perfect Reddit, history.
That's a private thing. That's private.
Yeah, I don't want people to be like, oh, you're that guy who did that shitty podcast. I thought you used to be cool.
Anyway, I want to know your private Reddit name, but that's beside the point.
Well, I've got 2 of them. Yeah.
So
actually, the name I use for my porn account is very clever, which is too bad that I can't share it with
Mine's
people.
clever. Mine's clever too.
Nice.
If only we could share, but we can't.
We'll do it off air. It's actually
no,
good.
we won't.
So do you comment I don't comment on the videos.
Let me get all right. So R Eugene. I went on there. I think I started going on there like a couple months ago, and I noticed amongst all the people there was who just post whatever, like, "Hey, where's a good place to find Thai food? Where's a good hotel to stay at? I'm moving to Eugene." There's a lot of those posts, which I have no problem with, but apparently a handful of people there who post on there do, and they just troll the hell out of everyone. And
they just tell you the worst hotel and or Thai place, which is actually the same place, the Thai hotel on 3rd.
Even like that'd be good trolling, but trolling these days is just people straight up being assholes, and like it's those people who both support Donald Trump and also pretend to be a huge Donald Trump supporter, like off the rails.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So that they joke about like liberals, but then they really mean it. So there was a couple of those people, and they were just spamming that subreddit, and eventually whoever the moderator is banned those guys, and they took up in arms because they're like, you're just banning us. You're banning us because we're speaking different. It's like they can only explain to these guys so much how it wasn't that they were like having a different opinion, but rather they were like shitting on some guys like, hey, where does the best burger? And they'll be like, well, if the libtards want a burger, they can go get out of Eugene. No one should live here. And it's like, why are you
hold on.
It's not so much an opinion as it is kind of an attack.
If the libtards want a burger, they can go to
a burger?
I forgot what that place is called. The Cornucopia on 17th, the one we don't like. The one
you don't like that one.
Have you been to that one?
I've been to that one.
It's the worst burger in history.
It is not. You've been getting more and more
I'm gonna edit
bombastic about how you refer to that.
Yeah, it's better than the Cornucopia on 17th. They have much friendlier service.
Anyway,
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
So what happened was after
the other cornucopias are good. It's just that one. It's a little shit black hole.
You need to lay off the corn, my friend, because it's showing up later. Okay.
Yeah, in the shit black hole.
So these guys, the handful of assholes who were posted on the Eugene subreddit got banned, and they created Alternative Eugene, or Alternative, and it's basically the same 2 or 3 guys commenting on each other's posts, and it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
They need to feed off each other.
Yeah,
I love that happened.
Like, I think people from the other Reddit want to post on it, but it's just more pathetic that they're only talking to each other.
Dan, I was just thinking to myself, I'm still thinking about that Best of Eugene poll, and I was thinking, obviously we don't know who collated it, but if it was all write-ins, I assume they probably took stuff that was vaguely similar, like food or nature, and combined them into categories. Like if someone said Sherry's was the best thing of Eugene, they'd probably just put that in the food category.
Well, that person is just a very sad person, and they
must
should go
be like 90.
They give you free pie on Wednesday, okay? You guys just don't understand.
They should go eat the pie milkshake or whatever the fuck it is, and die of whatever the diabetes
I would
thing
love
is.
Change
to
my
die.
mind.
Oh shit! I dropped the tab for my sodas.
Yours is the best part of
Here.
anywhere.
What I meant to say is that there might have been a lot of things that were very vague that they just put in the diversity category. Stuff like saying that we have a lot of Asian food around, and that, or a lot of different athletes. I feel like that's probably what happened is that like one person edited it, took like a bunch of stuff that was completely like one-offs, called that all diversity, and then the other person was like, "We're not a diverse town." There was zero communication.
Lars just put his hand on his hip.
I did an impression of a newspaper editor.
They all do that, yeah.
Oh, hey, Dan, it's time to go to the break, which I thought we were going to have Olivia play violin for the break music, but we didn't, so probably won't be break music because I'm so lazy. All right, welcome back to What Up Eugene. I assume we had break music, but we often don't, so who knows. You guys missed a really incredible conversation about all sorts of things of music and other stuff during the break. I mean, honestly, the break, I'll say it, is the best part of the show. It's the only time we bond with our guests. It's the only time we actually talk about Eugene. And we don't record any of it because, what if we have to pee? That's the whole reason we take the break. So you missed it. It wasn't recorded. If you were paying... If we got a Patreon, Dan...
No,
I thought about this. If we get one, and I'm not saying we would, what we would give them is like the unedited version of our podcast. We'd still take all the offensive stuff out, but we, then they could hear all the jokes that didn't really land, and maybe we could start recording our breaks. It'd be like, here's a 4-hour version of our podcast. Most of it's setting up mics.
well, actually, during this break, you were talking about splitting up some of the conversations into their own podcast, a whole music podcast, a whole hating on the Oregon Ducks and sports in general podcast.
I've had the thought a lot. Now, Dan, I love you a lot, and you're a great co-host, but you're not super into music. Sometimes
I like music.
I feel like whenever I talk to you about music, our conversations fall flat.
That's because I don't like. We have different types of music.
Yeah, you like that music. Anyway, so I've been
That's what a lot
wanting
of
to
people
start a
say.
podcast.
That's what a lot of people say. But I'd argue I'm so ahead of the curve, the curb, whatever, that people, I don't know, they can't talk to me on the
catch
same
up
level.
on it.
That's the thing.
But I think I want to start a podcast from the point of view of musicians to talk about music. So we had Olivia and I had a great conversation about music during the break. Of course, Olivia, classically trained, likes music theory, which is basically, all I ever want in a co-host is someone who knows what a tritone is, Dan.
Oh, that's what you meant by no music. I thought you meant like enjoy songs, not like
No,
is a diminished fourth? And then with my glasses up.
Yeah.
Augmented.
Yeah, it's diminished fourth would be a major third. There's no such thing.
Well, I'm more about the devil's interval.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah. Also known as... I'm kidding, I don't know.
The butthole.
The flat fifth? You got to get that flat five, Dan. You got to get that flat 5, 7,
Okay,
9.
Lars, save that for the Music
me,
People
me.
podcast because right now,
Hey.
we're gonna play a new game.
Well, hold on. Can I tell you?
No.
When we do the music podcast, which is going to be so exciting because there's like lots of recording opportunities. If there's only 2 of us, we can have the keyboard just plugged in. We can record, be like, this chord progression. We could do so much cool stuff with music during the music podcast that we can't do.
A mode a day.
A mode a day for 7 days.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, this is going to be so exciting. I'm so excited for when we get to Locrian.
Well, when I leave here, you guys can make whatever the hell you're talking
Dan,
about.
you don't understand, Dan. That's the mode that goes from B to B on a C major scale. It's theoretical. It's not because the fifth is a tritone. Speaking of, there's no harmony. It's not a real. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
Well, hold on.
I actually need some refreshers.
Oh yeah, me too. We'll talk about it. Let's get into Dan's game.
Got a new game, folks, for you. Play the theme.
Okay, Noodle. Find me a restaurant in Eugene, Oregon.
Okay. I am finding you restaurants in Eugene, Oregon.
Thanks.
All right, Olivia. Are you ready to play Okay Noodle?
Nope, let's go.
Now, Dan has promised that this is a very hard game, and I don't know anything about it. So, should the situation arise, I will be on Olivia's team playing against Dan.
I'm going to give her
And if Olivia's doing too well, I'll be on Dan's team playing against Olivia.
Oh,
I'm playing both sides.
I like that. So what this game is, I was trying to think of a new game, and one I thought of was when I went on Google Maps to look up different Eugene restaurants, Google had brief descriptions for each restaurant on the side of it when you clicked on the restaurants. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you these brief descriptions, and you're going to have to guess which restaurant Google is talking about. Google Maps.
Okay.
Here we go.
Question 1. Bustling restaurant specializing in Belgian-style waffles loaded with sweet and savory toppings.
Oh my goodness.
Name that restaurant.
Off the waffle.
I also agree with that one.
Correct.
Oh.
Which, by the way, can we just talk about how for years their hours have been 8 to 2? And I thought that was just our South Eugene one. It's the downtown one too. How are waffles not part of nightlife? How is there no one going, hey, fucking the waffle place is open till 3, so even though the bars are closed, let's go get...
Put some pulled pork on the waffle. We'll eat it.
They have pulled pork. They have pulled pork on the menu. That's the problem. They're just not open late enough.
Well, you know what else?
Well, I used to think night toast was the greatest invention of all time too, but apparently no dreams can be real.
I mean, you're just making toast at night?
No, bi-coastal, dude.
Oh, yeah.
His family is like part of the booth. He doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
All right, question 2. Restaurant 2, I should say.
Description.
This one is described as, quote, health-minded, counter-serve chain featuring creative, globally influenced bowls and burritos.
Laughing Planet.
Correct!
What?
Wow, I did not expect that. The word chain threw me off because I was thinking like Pita Pit or something. There are technically 2 Laughing Planets.
Well, I just knew that there were Laughing Planets in Portland as well.
Oh, shoot. I didn't realize that. I thought we just had the 2. Oh, man. None of my favorite things are actually
local.
local.
2 for 2, which means you already have a prize out of the prize bag at the end.
That's true, yeah. So now, are we out of 5 on this one?
Out of 5.
We usually go out of 5. So the rule is best 2 out of 5 gets a prize because, like I said, we don't want someone to lose on the show. Everyone after that is an additional prize. If you go 3 for 5, that's 2 prizes. 4 for 5, 3 prizes. 5 for 5, 4 prizes. It's confusing because it's one less than the number of points you
I
got.
hope they're not shitty.
Spoiler, they are.
Oh,
They are.
thank you so much.
Which brings us to Restaurant 3, which is described by Google as chic, casual place preparing classic Thai curries, stir fries, and noodle dishes, plus a full bar.
Oh my.
A full bar. Ooh,
Well,
that's
you need to
tricky.
reread on that.
That's tricky because I'm trying to think of which Thai places I know actually have a full bar. What is that? Oh shit.
Lars,
Yeah, I think he.
once she has 2 out of 2, she forfeits her lifeline.
What? Oh no! I thought we were playing against you. All right, but I want to steal on this.
No, come on, let's be a team.
Okay.
Okay. Here, I'll tell you this right now. I'm not 100%. Not final
No,
answer.
I have 0. So.
I'm thinking Sweet Basil. I don't remember if they have a bar, and I haven't seen the whole
They
restaurant.
do not have a bar like drinks bar. They don't have one.
Well, but do they have like a full? I guess any Thai place could technically have a full cocktails. Like if they have the alcohol.
For the listener, and by listener I mean literally listener, Cassidy, I'm gonna reread it again.
Okay, go for it.
It's described as a chic, casual place preparing classic Thai curries, stir fries, and noodle dishes, plus a full bar.
There's that one downtown that I can maybe think of, but I haven't actually been inside.
Tara Rin, I don't think of them as a bar. So they certainly don't have a bar to sit at. I don't think of them as an. Does Tara Rin have a bar? Holy fuck! I don't think they do. There's a lot of Thai places. I don't know of which one would have a full bar. There's a couple on campus. I doubt they have bars. Can we have a clue?
No.
He
What
just
the
said
fuck?
like 3 clues.
No, he just told us the description. They're
That
a
is
Thai
a
place.
huge clue.
Okay. I didn't know you knew which one it was.
I
For
don't.
every 5 seconds we have this Who's Want to Be a Millionaire theme going, that cost us $2,000. So hurry up, okay?
Yeah, we actually.
No, come on.
Luckily, we don't
say
pay
something.
anything. I'm giving up on you. That's a trick. Ooh. You're sure it's not Sweet Basil?
Okay.
I believe you. I
I'm just
don't
gonna
know.
say one, okay?
Say one, yeah.
Ciao Praya.
Ciao Praya, final answer.
Chapraya, final answer?
Yep.
Incorrect.
What is it? What the fuck is it?
Tararin.
It is Tara.
What?
Oh, I thought. I doubted myself. I was like, they might have a bar.
Chapraya was not. That was the second best guess you could have done.
It's the same
Okay.
owner, right?
Because what? I don't know.
They're the same
It's
owner.
really good, but it's kind of expensive.
I don't think. No, Chapraya is not the same.
Yeah, that's
No,
the-
Tararin also owns Blue Mist in near Valley River.
Yeah, they also own Ciao Praya.
They do?
Yeah. I think Chaparral is the original. Actually,
I'm gonna look into this later.
No, it's because they're both three like weird syllables. I'm positive.
Question 4. Restaurant 4. This is described as a trendy counter serve for tacos and other Mexican bites, plus draft beer and margaritas.
Oh, I know this. I'm pretty sure it's Tacovore. I'm not positive.
Is that the one on 5th?
It's in the Whitaker.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's like 1,000 taco places in Whitaker, but this is the one in the huge. I'm pretty sure it's the one in the huge warehouse that used to be Pizza Research Institute, because they're known for their margaritas. They have like 1,000 kinds of tequila.
Isn't it right by Bruns?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just a couple blocks away. Yeah,
that's the one. That's what I thought.
But here's the thing. There's also like Taco Loto. There's a lot of taco places in that area. So the question is Tacovore the right name? I know we're thinking of the place. Is Tacovore the name?
I think it is.
I think it is too. We're final answer Tacovore.
Correct.
Yes! Oh, 3 out of 5.
You guys got it. Good job. You got 2 prizes out of the prize bag, but let's go for 3 in the final restaurant. Restaurant number 5 is described as a vegetarian breakfast and lunch spot with a bohemian vibe featuring house-baked bread and organic coffee.
I know of 2 restaurants in town that are either vegetarian or vegan. I wouldn't describe either as a breakfast place. One, I've never been there for breakfast, so maybe it is. Well, the Cornbread Cafe is vegan. I feel like they would use vegan in the description.
Oh, okay. No,
right, but they make cornbread, and the other one is that is like a vegetarian Chinese restaurant or something. It's like very clearly not a breakfast place. I can't remember what it's called. It's over on right next to.
You're thinking of Govinda's.
Is it the one right next to Pizza Pipeline?
Oh no, I'm thinking of. You're thinking of a different one. It's like yours is like Jade Cuisine or something.
Yeah, Jade Garden or something like that.
Yeah, and like Cornbread Cafe is vegan.
Yeah, Cornbread Cafe is vegan. The Google description could be wrong. They do make bread there.
You want to reread?
Give it to us.
Vegetarian breakfast and lunch spot with a bohemian vibe featuring house-baked bread and organic.
I don't know what bohemian
think
means.
it's
I don't know the word bohemian. Honestly, I know it's a rhapsody. I don't know.
Bohemian's like hipster.
Is that really?
I thought it was like.
It's like a place in the world, isn't it?
It's short for or long for boho, like, I don't know.
You're poor, but you're looking like fancy poor.
Yeah, like
Wow.
beads and long hair
Okay,
and kind of hippie like.
Yeah, I don't know other vegetarian restaurants in town. I know they exist. I believe you.
I'm drawing a blank.
Should we just say Cornbread Cafe? I mean, it's better to guess something than not.
Yeah.
We're gonna guess Cornbread Cafe even if it's wrong.
Well, you are wrong because it is Morning Glory Cafe.
Oh, I've been there.
I didn't know they were. I knew the name. I didn't realize they were vegetarian.
I've
Yeah,
been there.
Morning Glory, which is disappointing me because whenever I go there, I'm like, oh, tofu burrito. Which is, hey, listen, Morning Glory is great, but I can't help but want actual.
Well, here's what I want. I want hashtag bring back Tofu Palace. Hashtag Palace Cooler.
No,
Wait, they were never an
like
actual restaurant, were they?
I had like
No,
a
but
pesto
bring it to the Sunday
omelet
market.
there.
Oh,
It
yeah?
was so good.
It was good? Okay.
Well, you know what? It's all okay because you still won 2 prizes. I'm gonna open up my sack for you.
Well, let her open the sack. That's the fun part.
Oh, okay. I get to zip it up.
Okay, you can unzip it, but you can't look in, but you can grab.
Now, I would put the what's in your wallet here theme here, but I already did that once, so.
Oh,
Ooh, look at that.
Who is that?
We turned
Okay,
it
listen,
around.
I'm gonna give you one opportunity to put something back in the bag, and that's
shoot.
it.
Okay.
I want to say I recognize that, but I can't think of.
I'm not gonna say because someone else could get it.
Yeah, well then I won't say either.
Oh, you got 2 prizes. You're done. They stuck together.
There you go. We got one of those.
It's a magnet.
Yeah.
And a little.
It's a little candle.
I
It's like one of
dropped
those little like vigil
She
candles.
dropped it.
You know, so if anyone's grandparent or great grandparent dies, you can light that candle instead of actually going to the funeral service.
Can you describe the prizes you pulled out?
Okay, so we've got a Deschutes Brewery bottle cap with a magnet in it. Looks homemade, but might not be. I don't know.
Dan makes those actually.
I did make that.
Yeah.
Well, this one's my favorite because my fridge is magnetless.
Can I ask
live
you
in a
why
new
it looks
place.
homemade? Because I'm a little offended.
Well,
Because
it's
I can
kinda
see the
homemade.
glue, and I've made these before.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
She does.
And then a beautiful little white vigil candle, as Lars has described.
Vigil. I thought it
Now,
was called
question.
a tea light.
Would
Tea
you-
light?
Would
I
you
think he's
describe
right.
that as homemade?
No, I don't think
Well,
you
guess
can...
what? No, I'm kidding. I didn't make that.
I didn't know that you made candles.
I do not. I melted wax from one of those long white candles into that little tin.
You know what, Lars, though? I'm going to make What Up Eugene bottle cap magnets.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Promotional
Yes.
gifts.
Let's get a What Up Eugene beer. You know, the hot ones, they have their own hot sauce. How come we don't have our own? We could review it every time.
I don't like hot sauce.
You've been watching Hot Ones?
That show is
It
fantastic.
is great, isn't it?
So there's a show on YouTube, Olivia, which is it's kind of an interview style show where they have fun guests come on, and then they have 10 wings, starting at pretty mild, like 2,000 Scoville, which is like Tapatio, going all the way up to like 500,000 Scoville, which is their special sauce. And they just do an interview with the person while they're eating the hotter wings. So the guy doing the interview is eating the same wings. And the great part about the show is his just like absolute perfect, like dead face. Like he does not look like he's eating the hottest wings in the world. And
Because he's done it so... I mean, he's on
Yeah.
season... Like, technically season 4, they call it on YouTube.
I mean, he's done it, and what's great about it is like sometimes the guests are like, "Dude, are your wings like? Are you cheating?" And he'll switch wings with them, and they're like, "No, these are hot too."
That reminds me of Hot Pepper Gaming, which actually isn't a channel anymore, but they used to bring in popular YouTube Let's Play channels like Game Grumps and stuff, and give them a hot sauce or a pepper or something, and they do a game review. And I remember Aaron Hansen could not handle himself because he had hot sauce.
I can imagine he can't handle himself regularly.
You know, the hottest sauce I had, like, so hot ones, they change their lineup every season.
Yeah.
They have some, like, mainstay sauces they keep in the lineup. There's, like, I think there's between 7 and 10 sauces on the lineup.
It's 10 sauces every episode.
Okay.
10 wings.
And the hottest I've had off the line was their second hottest.
Is that currently second hottest, which is the Blair's?
No, it's their old second hottest, which was Mad Dog 357.
Yep. So the hottest sauce I've ever had was I think it was called Blair's After Death, which is not the Blair's sauce they use.
Blair's Mega Death Sauce with Liquid Rage.
Yeah. So that one's like 200,000 Scoville or something. I think the Blair's After Death was like 60,000. It was hot, but it wasn't like the same. Nowhere in the 357 Mad Dog range.
That Mad Dog was rough. So, no pun intended.
Dogs bark.
Dogs go rough.
Rough is the sound they make. Rough.
All my friends tried it. I put the biggest amount, which was about a chocolate chip sized amount, and I mixed it into my Taco Bell burrito that I happen to have.
Yeah.
And it was this weird thing where like I was sweating uncontrollably, but I didn't, even though like I wasn't like burning up. I'm just like, oh, my face is just sweating and it won't stop. It was crazy hot. And it lasted a while, but I might do it again.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my favorite episode of Hot Ones, which has just been a great derailment of this show. They have a couple celebrity chefs come on, and one of them, I don't remember who, but he's like bald and his name starts
that
with a
guy.
C.
Mark.
Did
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
I feel like it starts with a C. I could be wrong. He did like as good of a job as the regular host of the show did. Like you could not tell that the wings were like getting to him at all, which was fantastic. It was it was brilliant to watch this guy because you know chefs are good with food, but you don't expect them to just sit down and eat 500,000 Scoville like it's nothing. Or that was before they had it was 357. I think was their hottest, or Blair's was their hottest.
I would probably
So,
be
300,000.
screaming for someone to call 911 because I'm
Yeah.
like on fire.
Oh
Burning.
yeah, it's bad. Speaking of you, our guest, the one episode you heard was also the episode where we had a guest come on and do their top 5 albums of all time.
Correct.
That was Jordan. He listed many great albums. He did not list Led Zeppelin 2, which was really a shame for the entire music industry.
Well-
He listed a Led Zeppelin album, no spoilers. It just wasn't the second one. Or Presents Orange Through the Outdoor, Houses of the Holy. You know, it was...
Or all the rest of them, so he's like shaming all the rest of them. It's like the Beatles, though. If
Yeah.
you list one, you're shaming the rest of them.
Yeah, but I mean, at least he listed Abbey Road. You know, so Led Zeppelin 2 is their Abbey Road.
So what Lars is trying to say is it's been a while since we've done our guest top 5, so
Yeah.
we're gonna do a repeat of our top 5 top albums.
This is exciting because Olivia is a guest who not only wanted to come on the show, but wanted to come on the show and knew what she wanted to talk about. She's been for weeks, for years, planning this top 5 albums. So this is, I hope you have it right.
It's as right as it can get, but I feel like if I had to have a top 5 by the time I die, it would be
could
slowly
change.
shifting over time.
Let me ask you this before you get into it. Do you want to start at number 5, and build up tension? Do you want to just rip the Band-Aid off of 1 and go backwards? You could do like 5, 2, 4, 3, 1 if you want to just kind of screw with people.
Start from 5.
Okay, that's a good plan. That's traditionally the best way to do it.
But before that, I have 2 honorable mentions.
All right, I want to hear them.
I couldn't not do that. So let me just pull it up real fast while he's doing that awful thing.
I thought you had to pee.
Okay, ready? So my number 7 is "No Need to Argue" by the Cranberries.
I have not heard that.
Does that have zombie?
Yep,
Zombie.
it has zombie
There
on
it is.
which is actually
Okay, so so you listed at number 7, so it didn't make it in just because it's slightly under the other ones. Is there any particular reason it's definitely not up there? Or?
because the top 5 are just so
They're
good.
just better.
They can't not be in the top 5.
That's fair. I think that's totally fine. What's your number 6?
My number 6 is "Jar of Flies" by Alice in Chains.
Another one I have not heard. I'll be honest with you.
So Alice in Chains are they're really chunky and inspired by metal bands.
Mm-hmm.
But they did this one acoustic album in 94 that they recorded in a couple days, and it's just like it's 7 songs of just this is so good.
That sounds good. That's always. I mean, I love when people can just write a song real fast and then just have a song. That's my favorite band right now, and has been for a long time, is the Mountain Goats. And the big thing that I like about them is the thousands of songs they have. I mean, there's a list, a wiki page of all the lost Mountain Goat songs that have been played but haven't been recorded that people know about. And there's like 300 at least songs that are missing, let alone all the recorded ones. I mean, it's crazy. They whip songs out so fast.
Makes me think of Buckethead and his hundreds of albums.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're dipping into the actual top 5.
Yes, we
The
are.
honorable mentions have been
Mentioned honorably.
Yes.
So I don't know if I can put these 4 in order. So I'm
The
just
order
gonna
you say it in
just
is the
read
order
'em.
it comes in. So
All right.
forever. No backsies.
All right. Rubber Soul.
Rubber Soul. All right. Starting with a Beatles album, Rubber Soul. That's a good one.
The Who?
So the reason why I picked it is
Mhm.
because it's the first one that I thought of as my favorite once I started getting into them.
Okay.
And Jordan really helped me get into them. But it's kind of a transition period between early Beatles and later Beatles.
Mhm.
So you can kind of hear both sides of it, which I really like.
There's definitely a couple songs. I'm pretty sure Rubber Soul is the one where John Lennon says, if you leave me, I will take you back home where you belong, or something to that effect.
It's a good threat.
It's a very catchy song. You're like, yeah, you are gonna drag her back home where she belongs because she likes him too much and he likes her. So domestic violence is okay if you like someone.
I'm not remembering at the moment.
It might be on Revolver. I know it's on one of those two, but it's I think it's You Like Me Too Much. Is that what the song's called?
I think that's on Help, actually.
Is it on Help?
You Like Me Too Much.
Oh, geez, I'm not paying attention at all. I don't know my Beatles albums. What's on Rubber Soul? Give us top song on Rubber Soul. You get one.
One? Oh, come on.
We can't do a self top 5.
Oh, God. Oh, this is hard.
Well, you're looking around. No one's going to help you.
Yeah, I don't even know if Rubber Soul.
Help me, somebody.
No, it's a different album.
Yeah, it is. I'm just going to say Michelle, because I'm drawing a blank right now.
Ooh, I like that one.
I'm so much under pressure.
Yeah. Sans les monts qui vont très bien ensemble. Très bien
Santé,
ensemble.
mon très bien.
Sans les monts qui vont très bien ensemble, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what they don't. It's French. They don't pronounce the second half of any of the words.
Yeah. I mean, I can do the French. I've had a beer and a half.
Oh, sure. You're sans les monts qui vont très bien. I'm pretty sure it's très bien ensemble, and then they say that twice. Très bien
Très
ensemble.
bien ensemble. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, but the way they pronounce it's like très bien ensemble or son or something. I don't know. It's easier if you sing it, but then we'd be singing on air, and that'd be terrible.
Yeah, it's hard to say lyrics when it's not in the song sometimes.
Because you have to imagine their Liverpool accent, which I never really think about when I'm singing a Beatles song. But then you hear Paul doing an interview, and you're like, "Oh my God, are you retarded?"
Well, actually, sometimes people with English accents, when they're singing, they'll sound American.
Mm-hmm.
They won't have their accent.
Well, I think certainly the Beatles were hugely influenced by Buddy Holly and Elvis, so I think they wanted to sound like American singers.
I don't know. Could be. I don't actually know the facts here.
Let's get into number 3.
All right.
Number 4, you mean?
Yeah.
We just did number 4. It was Rubber Soul. Was that number 5?
This was number 5.
You gotta keep
Number
better
4.
count.
I guess.
So-
Oh, okay. Well, hold on, Ringo. Excuse you. If anyone needs to learn how to count, I'm kidding. Your drumming was good.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's it.
Pretty
That's
good.
solid.
Led Zeppelin 1.
No, there we go. Not Led Zeppelin 2.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
You know,
they number their albums like that?
Well, so the first one is called Led Zeppelin. Just self-titled. And then the second one's called Led Zeppelin 2, so then it retroactively became Led Zeppelin 1. And the third one's called Led Zeppelin 3. And the fourth one has no title or name on it whatsoever, which was crazy because it immediately made it to the top of the charts. So you could really, when you were Led Zeppelin at that time, you could sell an actual turd, as they later tried to fin through the outdoor. And that one's called Led Zeppelin 4 by the fans, but isn't technically titled anything. And then they stopped doing that. And then other bands started doing that after them.
So Olivia is
Friggin'
putting
posers.
Led Zeppelin 1 as her number 4.
Yeah. Jordan also had that one on his list. So, it's a good
Yeah.
album. It's a great, I'm going to let it finish. It's a great album.
And-
It's a fine album.
And I mean, he had some influence because we've shared our music tastes. We've been going out for more than 2 years now. So we've kind of shared our music
Melding,
tastes quite a
sure.
lot. And I don't know, after listening to that album quite a bit over those 2 years and then before that, I just felt like it was the one that just gave me the most. If you know what I mean.
I don't, because have you heard the bass part for the Lemon song?
No,
It's like
no,
a solo.
no.
It's the
I
baddest
love
bass part of
Lemon
all
Song.
time.
No,
It's so
I love,
good.
I love Lemon Song, but like that whole, I'm talking about whole
Yeah,
album
no, it's
experiences.
I feel you. Yeah, the whole album captures you like that. That's good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about number 3.
All right, number 3. Let's do Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon. Okay, that's a good one. That's a
Good.
classic.
One thing that irks me about it is that it's everywhere. You can see it everywhere,
Mhm.
but you don't know who's actually heard it. And that sounds super pretentious.
No, it is. It's one of those, like, it's such an iconic, that little picture of the refracting light.
Yeah.
People wear that in T-shirts.
It's every college student's has the Jimi Hendrix poster, the Bob Marley poster, the Pink Floyd poster,
Yeah.
I had a coworker today who was wearing
regardless of if they've actually listened to
a
it.
shirt with
No,
the
I love all of those.
yeah. I had a coworker today who was wearing a shirt with the PlayStation 1 logo, and I tried to talk to them about classic PlayStation 1 games because I just learned today that phones can easily emulate PS1 games, and there's a PS1 emulator in the Play Store. Oh yeah, dude, are you kidding me? Apparently, technology's moved along a little bit in the last 25 years. So that's what I'm going to do after this immediately is start playing some PlayStation 1 games on my phone. And it turned out that coworker really didn't have anything to say about the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, I started Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, I heard that they did an HD one. I just learned that today too on Facebook.
So yeah, so I haven't been allowed to play the HD whatever. So I'm doing the original experience through the PS2.
Let me ask you, how far are you into the game?
Oh my.
What's the last city you were in or something? I don't know.
It's been a couple of days. I passed through Trino.
Okay.
I passed through that town with the sandy stuff around it.
Sure, yeah.
I think that's where I left off.
So, and then the second question is, who's your favorite character right now?
Vivi.
Yeah,
Probably everyone's,
that's
right?
the correct answer. Vivi's the greatest character.
We're counting how many times he trips.
Oh my god. My favorite thing about that game, this is just a quick aside, is how every character in that game could be the main character, except for a couple. There's a couple of minor characters who are really stupid. But like the plot is so universal to the characters of the game. So you missed a little bit of Final Fantasy IX topic there while Dan peed and we thought we were recording without him. But
Can I have headphones back?
no. I thought those were mine. I thought I was holding headphones and listening to them. Long day. Final Fantasy IX, excellent game. I highly recommend. I'm so excited for you to experience it for the first time. A lot of good things coming. Speaking of good things, is this album number 3 we're going to? No, we did that. Album number 2.
2. And this
can't
is a
count.
really, really highly recommended one from me.
From you.
Especially as a person who plays guitar, person who sings,
Sure?
which I don't publicly sing yet. So that thing you heard earlier, just pretend.
No, you crushed it. You nailed it.
Anyway.
I feel you, though. I'm the same way. I'm trying to sing every day, but then I'm like, I want to show people songs, but my singing's so bad I'm not.
but it's Dirt by Alice in Chains.
Okay.
That song with them bones on it. You probably
Told you.
Yes,
bad
that song.
dreams come true.
Exactly, yes. So that whole album, just like, I love the chunky guitars and the vocal harmonies, and it just like, it's, I don't know, the whole thing just makes me feel so good inside somehow, even though it's so dark and chunky.
I mean, vocal harmony in general, just makes me feel alive.
Yes,
music
their
without
live
harmony.
is better.
Now, as music goes, is harmony when everyone's in the same tune or everyone's in a different tune?
Different,
So-
but like,
all
what's
comes
the opposite
together.
of dissonant?
Yeah, okay. So music is described really like a very vague definition is organized sound. So anything you do in some kind of time or pattern, and that's why you have African drumming where there's really no notes, it's just hitting drums, and that's still music. So melody is a group of notes played on one instrument, like single notes at a time, like ba-da-da or whatever would be a melody. Harmony is multiple notes played together. So any kind of chord, just like a C major chord is harmony. So vocal harmony is usually like, if you think of like a pop group or like a boy band, it's usually just all of the people singing the same part, but in like thirds and fifths or whatever, or like a barbershop quartet is a really classic example of 4 people singing. What makes harmony interesting though is that you can have parts that are not the same, where someone's doing faster notes or slower notes, or they're moving in different directions, which is what you get with Johann Sebastian Bach, for instance, the greatest musician to ever live.
Well, let's see if we can harmonize right now, guys. I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, and then we're all gonna go.
You want us to do different notes?
Different notes, and let's just see if we harmonize. Okay.
We're just gonna guess. What if we all hit the same note on accident?
Okay. 3, 2, 1. I think her and I were in sync.
I don't know how to sing. I told you.
You just you and me. Ready?
I can't. I'm not gonna do it. I won't do it. It
Wait,
won't
just
sound
you
good.
guys, or
3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
So that's not.
I have no ears for that.
that's like
I
a
honestly,
super tritone.
my ear training is so terrible. It sucks. But
Them bones.
harmony is so harmonic movement. Like what happens is you have dissonance sometimes, and that creates a want to resolve. So like a tritone shows up in the most I wouldn't say most popular, but the most resolve-y chord in all of music, which is a 5/7 chord. And that really gives you this idea that you have to go to the first chord of the key to make it feel good. So harmony is all about creating a movement forward through dissonance, and then I don't know what the opposite of dissonance is.
Assonance?
Assonance, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know.
Consonance.
And then it gets resolved.
Yeah, resolving dissonance, and then creating new dissonance, and then so in Baroque music, you have a thing called counterpoint, which is basically you have one melody that does its own thing and develops, and you have a second melody that is a fully different melody. So the first one might be like ba ba be do do do, and the second one might be like boo do 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 be, right? And they're different melodies, but over top of each other, they still create harmony. It's a very mathematical thing, writing it out. It really is like quite scientific. Bach will do 4 or 5 of those at once. So you have like 4 different melodies going on that are also creating this like interlocking layer of chord movements that is phenomenal. It is,
and it comes
really
out.
brilliant.
It sounds just like dubstep. It's amazing.
Bach actually invented dubstep. You first hear it, of course, on Windy, then Walter Carlos's album Switched on Bach, which, by the way, I don't know if you've heard, but Jordan has Switched on Bach. I found it, and then I gave him all my records because I didn't care.
He has so many, I don't know all of what he has.
Switched on Bach, highly recommend. It's Bach done on a Moog synthesizer in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, it was a monophonic synthesizer though, so it's one note at a time and then overdubbed. It's brilliant. I mean, it sounds so good. Oh my god,
I'll ask him. Yeah.
It's got a guy on it dressed up like Bach. His name was Walter. His name is Wendy now. So
Yeah.
So just to review, number 5. Number 5, we got. Where are they again?
I don't remember. Oh, Rubber Soul.
The Beatles, Rubber Soul. Number 2, we got Led Zeppelin 1. Number 3 coming in with Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Mm-hmm. Number 2, we have Alice in Chains, Dirt.
Yeah.
That leads
us.
And
then just one more thing that I wanted to point out. A lot of things that are in common with my favorite music groups are the vocal harmonies and the interesting vocal harmonies, because you can just do one whenever you want with someone, but some of these groups have like 4 people singing, and it just creates so much color.
Yeah. Well, so that's what I mentioned before. So an easy thing. So a chord is made up of 2 thirds. So a major third and then a minor third is a major chord, for instance. So a lot of vocal harmony in pop music is just someone sings the melody and someone else above or below sings a third from the chord, and then 3 people and it's just thirds, and so it's just the same thing in the same direction. There's no real there's no feeling of movement there. What makes the Beatles cool, what makes them incredible, is that I'm sure they did that in some of their songs, but they had much more complex harmony most of the time.
Yeah.
Which makes it so incredible to listen to and be like, how could they sing that? How could they think of that? Their brains were just, oh my God.
A lot of Lennon McCartney going on.
Yeah. Terrible parent. Good singer, Lennon.
Yeah, I don't know why I had to look at my list for this last one, but
Didn't you have a shirt? Didn't you have a shirt with that one on it?
I'm wearing the shirt with the album.
Spoilers, I already knew. Tell us what this album is.
American Idiot by Green Day.
And I'll say this right off the bat, as soon as she showed me the shirt, I don't know where, but I know that album's in my top 5. That is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah.
You don't want to be an American Idiot.
No, I mean, there's just not a single song in that album that isn't a jam. It's from beginning to end, it's all jams. I mean, even Wake Me Up When September Ends, it's one of the slower, sadder jams, but it's still a jam.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows it and isn't embarrassed to will just sing along with the whole song in public. It's great.
Yeah, and I feel like people who've listened to The Who, who've heard a rock opera, can appreciate American Idiot. And it so happens that during that time, 2004 to 2007, there were a few other concept albums that came out,
My Chemical Romance was around that.
Yeah, The Black Parade,
which is also an incredible album. I love concept albums, I'll say it.
Yeah, and Blink-182 came out with one self-titled that I really recommend if you like them.
Is the album called Self-Titled?
No, it's called Blink-182.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I one of my great plans for the future of my life is to release an album called Self-Titled. I think it'll be so great because people will be like, oh, have you heard Lars's new Self-Titled album? No. It's his album Self-Titled.
Yes.
It's slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It's a great joke.
But anyways, I don't know. My favorite track on there is Jesus of Suburbia. It's like its own rock opera, honestly, because there's several parts to the song and it's 9 minutes long.
Yeah. Green Day, and I don't know of other bands that did this, but they did this cool thing where it's sort of 5 little songs in its own, or 6 or whatever. And they didn't just do that. They also did Homecoming, which is the same thing, which is my favorite, because that opening guitar riff in Homecoming, oh my God. I'm sure it's so simple, but it sounds so good.
Daryl.
And it's really cool to that kind of it's one big song. Jesus is Suburbia. What's cool, I think it was on the DVD, but they show the guy who wrote the lyrics. I don't know their names. Trey's the drummer, right?
Yes.
The guy who sings
Billy Joe.
He talked about that. The first lyric, which I could not for the life of me figure out. Hyperson of Rage. I'm the son of Rage and Love. He sat down and wrote that out, and then he wrote the whole song based on it, and I think it works really well. I think the album sounds great. I think it works really great. The guitar tone is incredible. Everything about it, just there's nothing that doesn't fit. Yeah. And all the songs are jams.
Yeah, and I feel like they started polishing their sound more once they hit Nimrod in 1997, which is also a really good album. And then they recorded Shenanigans and Warning, pretty polished, but then American Idiot came and they became even more massive than when they did. It's
kind of that studio perfect thing. There's something cool, especially in punk, but in any genre, of hearing something really raw and emotional, where it's kind of one take, or it's recorded on a cassette tape, and you can hear that kind of grain and fuzz. But there's something else to it, to hear someone who could do one take really brilliantly and take 6 months to a year to 2 years and get every vocal track and every drum beat perfect and hear what comes out. One of the albums I think I recommended to Jordan is called Thousand Suns by Linkin Park. I heard it, of course, after the singer from Linkin Park died. I forgot his name. What's his name? I don't remember.
Wasn't Korn? Was it his name, or is it
No, that's a different band.
Okay,
yeah. I think you're thinking of
Soundgarden.
Chris Cornell.
Anyways, R.I.P. There's certainly a very digital aspect to it. It's all, a lot of it's synthesizers, and a lot of it's kind of, some of the beats might be real drums, but most of them I think aren't. but there's this polished, like every note, every dynamic, every, left and right panning in the headphones is exactly how they wanted it to be. And it really, it's also a concept album, and it really tells their story well, and it just sounds so good. And it has this kind of Dark Side of the Moon thing where all the songs flow together, and any of them out of context don't really sound like a song.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't put any of them on the radio, which is, I think, especially when you're already, because they were already pretty big at that point in time, I think it's a really brave thing to do, to go, we're going to write a whole album and none of them are going to be radio number ones. Like people, like you have to listen to the whole album.
And I do feel like you have to be a little bit popular before you do that, which they were.
Yeah, I guess if you have no popularity at all, you can do that without like worrying about ruining your reputation. But it is like, it was definitely a dangerous thing, because there's a good chance people aren't going to buy that album because they're not going to hear it on the radio. So you have to know that that's going to be an album. It's going to be your Led Zeppelin 3. It's not going to sell. It might not be critically acclaimed because there's no song. I mean, Led Zeppelin 3 has lots of songs that stand out, but you kind of have to know that you're doing that for you and for the art, and then that the next album you're going to sell.
Yeah, and I guess to be honest, I hadn't heard of that album because I only know about like Meteora and there's another one, Hybrid Theory.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't either. And honestly, I just knew them as the cringy metal band from middle school.
I like them. Come on.
What I didn't know is that they really, almost every album they do completely different genres. The album before that, they had like 7 singles on the radio. That was really poppy. So they really, I think that made a lot of fans angry because they expected something and got different stuff every time. But it also introduced new fans to the genre, because I probably wouldn't like any of Linkin Park's other music, but Black Sun is so well crafted and executed. It's definitely worth a listen. Or Thousand Suns.
Okay. And
not Black Sun.
I feel like some people complain about their favorite band changing, but something that is important about being a musician is always
developing,
growing and developing.
It's a hard thing to think about, but I always think about that with Buddy Holly, because I think like he died really young, but everything he did was great. But I know if he lived for 30 more years, he would have written a lot of stuff I didn't like. So I'm kind of like,
Yeah, for sure.
They say that about a lot of artists.
Yeah.
Like even the best, they're like, if they lived 30 years, we don't know what they would have come up with. It could have been crap.
Yeah, well, it's like, David Bowie died recently, and his last album was pretty good, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff, especially I haven't listened to his whole catalog, that's not like, it's not Space Oddity, It's not quite quite there all the time, which is okay. I think, it's more about expressing yourself than making money, certainly. So if you like the art you make, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And like, I'm a really big Nirvana fan, and I've watched a lot of interviews and documentaries and stuff. And I've heard that they were running out of ideas, which is interesting because they kind of went out with a bang, because In Utero was really, really good. And if they ran out of ideas and they were getting old, maybe they wouldn't be seen as legendary.
I mean, is it inappropriate? How long after he shoots himself in the face is it weird to make a went out with a bang joke? I mean,
oh my god!
Oh
my god!
I didn't know. Lars turned toward me slowly after she said that.
Twice. She said it,
and I was looking at you like, oh,
twice. She said
I thought you were gonna say, oh, your mic's not on again, Dan.
I was wondering why you turned around. And oh my god.
Well, I'll tell you what. Our last 2 episodes have been kind of short. This one's on the longer side, so that's for you music fans. Not too long, just a little 15 over an hour.
That was really dark.
We're gonna wrap it up on that dark joke. If you're listening to this, you might be on SoundCloud, you might be on Stitcher. You don't need a URL. Just look up What Up Eugene. It's super easy. You can't miss it. It will be coming to Play Store and iOS soon. If you get Stitcher Premium, you can listen to all the episodes, but you can listen to the most recent 8 for free without it. So I highly recommend.
For me, it went all the way back to episode 3.
Yeah. But there's more on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's like
pilots.
That's like 9. So from episode 12 to episode 3, that's like 9 of them. Yeah. That's a pretty good amount.
What up, Eugene?
Yeah. If you're looking for beer reviews, you can go to beerreview.tumblr.com. Of course, you can go to whatupeugene.tumblr.com. I'm at Lars in the Studio. That's on Instagram. Dan is at Dan Koss. Dan Koss, Koss. You do it twice. Dan Koss, also on Instagram. How can people find you, Olivia, if they're looking? And I know they will be.
You know what? Okay, I picked up my phone because I forgot my Instagram username because I just made it. But it's Olivia of Neptune.
And that's at Olivia of Neptune on Instagram.
Yep.
Do you have any final notes, any events going on in Eugene you want to tell people about?
I don't get around very often, and I'm from Portland.
There you go. So don't go to Portland is what Olivia's saying.
There's too many people there. Just don't bother.
Dan, what night is a drink and draw at Cornucopia? Is it Monday night?
It might be Monday
Is
night
it
at
Monday
9
night?
p.m.
9 p.m.? Well, if you're wondering what to do from 6:30 till 9, there's trivia at Park whatever place.
Listen, go there, play
Park
trivia,
Cafe.
play trivia with my father.
With Dan's father and my guitar teacher. What a combo.
I won't be there, but they will.
Yeah. So if you want to hang out with two older gentlemen in a perfectly safe trivia environment,
My dad is a party animal.
I don't know if Marty Chilla is a party animal, but he's a cool guy.
I think my dad might know your friend.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. And then there's other events throughout the week, but those are it's only Monday nights, all we care to talk about. So thanks for listening. Stay tuned. We're going to do this again.
Moments Go Studios.